out like a football. Like she just, I'm here. So before I get to see her, the doctor is looking down. Then she'll look back up at me. Then she'll look at Shay again. And she looks up at me and she's like, "Are you sure her father is African American?" And I'm feeling some type of way because because I know who my baby daddy is. Like, don't play me for stupid. I know who my baby daddy is. So I'm like, yeah, I'm 100% sure that he's African American. And I'm like, okay, what's going on? So they gave me my baby. And I'm like, what's wrong with her? Like, is she breathing? What's wrong with her? Like, she was so pale. And I knew what albinism was because my cousin Jimmy, that I bothered every day I was pregnant, got on his nerve every day I was pregnant. He has albinism, so I knew what albinism was, but her color wasn't like his color. Her color, she was completely pale. Like she had tints of blue and tints of black in her. I mean, not black, but tints of blue and green in her. So I'm thinking, my baby gone. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, what's wrong with her? What's wrong with her? She wasn't crying. She was just looking like, who is these people? I don't know these people. So um she was breathing very faintly. They had to hurry up and take her from me. They let my boyfriend cut her umbilical cord, and then they put all the machines on her. She had breathing machines, she had feeding tubes, she had jaundice, so of course she was in the incubator under the light. She had a lot of complications. So they're telling me, she's not gonna be able to go home with you. There's too many complications. She needs to be eating on her own. She needs to gain some weight. She was only 4 pounds 6 ounces. That's it. We can literally hold her in our hand like this. Her hair was so blonde and thin and silky. You know, when we wet it, it just disappeared. It's like you didn't even see it until it dried again. So yeah, the doctor was coming. It was like, okay, it's gonna be a while. We're gonna have to keep her here in the incubator. They were feeding her through the tube. She was on the machines to help her breathe. And of course, I had my older daughter, Anna. So it was kind of like, okay, that's kind of hard for a mom because you don't want this child to feel like, okay, this sibling is more important. I have to be here, so I'm not going to be able to be with you. You don't want that child to feel that way. And of course, Anna was young, and she loved my mom and dad because they spoiled her from jump anyway. But it was kind of hard for me as a mother to have to say, okay, I'm not going to be able to stay here with you because I want to stay at the hospital with your sister. I want to make sure your sister is okay. So I ended up giving partial custody to my mother for Anna, and they kept her. I stayed at the hospital with Shay, of course. One day, when I was there, and the doctor came in, and she was like, she just had this look on her face, to where something's wrong, something's just not right. So she sat down and Mrs. Sanders, and of course something's gonna go wrong then. So she was like, well, it's not. We we're not going to give up hope. We don't want you to give up hope, but things are, she's not doing everything that she should be doing on her own. And she was saying that maybe it would be best to start making preparations, is how they say it. Whew. Not what I wanted to hear. I didn't. I didn't call a pastor. I didn't call a funeral home. I did none of that, like, whatsoever. And so my mother, my family, I have a praying family. Let me tell you something. We may not be sanctified and all Holy Ghost filled and everything, but my family is a praying family. So the phone calls went out. They said she's not coming home. Something got to be done about it. So with a lot of prayers, a lot of prayers, and the strength came from my family. I can say that. My strength during that time came from my family. I have a cousin named Quisha Sanders. Oh my God, that girl. She was there for me the whole time. Like, I love her to death. But she did. She started eating on her own. She started gaining weight. She came off that feeding tube. She came home, with the exception of them saying, okay, she's coming home. But this is my whole thing about doctors. They went to school. They read books. They learned things that we did not. But they are not God. And that's just the way I feel about it. So she's going home, but she's probably not going to walk. She's going home, but she's probably not going to feed herself. She's going home, but she may not live to see her 18th birthday. It was those buts. I wasn't hearing none of that. She went home. Nothing went wrong. She was having complications with the milk that she was on. I couldn't I tried breastfeeding her, but I really couldn't because I guess she wasn't strong enough to latch on correctly. So I had to have these little tiny bottles to feed her because she couldn't even take a whole 8-ounce bottle at all. She had to drink the little small ones. So she did have those complications, but other than that, she was like the sweetest baby. Shay never cried. Never cried. Um, Her little smile, her face was so fat when she was a baby. Her little smile would light up a room. Her older sister was superly overprotective of her. You tried to touch Shay, no, my baby, my baby. So we ended up moving to Mississippi. Shay still wasn't walking. By the time she turned, I want to say 1.5, we got her involved in a great program in Mississippi. It's an early learning program. She had a therapist called Miss Mary. Her name was Miss Mary. She would come to the house. It's pretty much they're teaching them, their physical, they trying to get them caught up on learning. They're delayed, so they're trying to get them caught up. 1 year old, Shay wasn't walking. Early intervention, they came out. Miss Mary came out. They worked with her. They worked a lot with her. It took a lot. The way she would get around, she would sit on the floor and she would scoot her hands and scoot her butt across the floor. So that's how she was getting around. When Miss Mary got to her, she worked a lot with her. One, she wasn't walking. By the age of 2, she wasn't walking. She was talking though. She was talking way too much, but she was talking. By the age of 3, wow, it's amazing how we found out. By the age of 3, Shay had, I had took her in to lay her down for a nap. So a few hours went by. I always went in and check on them, especially Shay, just because of her conditions and her issues. So one day I put her down for a nap and I went back in the room to check on her after a while, and my baby was completely blue. She wasn't responding. She was cold. We hurried up and we rushed her to the hospital, and we found out she had a seizure in her sleep. So they put her on all these machines, and we're sitting there, and my mom calls my Aunt Faye, and they get to praying, and me at this point, I'm frustrated, I'm upset, I'm questioning everything, I'm mad at everybody and everything. I didn't want nobody to talk to me. I didn't want to hear nothing nobody had to say. I didn't want to pray about it. I didn't want to hear it was okay. I didn't want to hear none of that. I'm just like what is going on? Why is my baby going through all this? Why does she have to? Why? And they always say it's not good to question God, but I was questioning. I had 1,000 questions for him that day. Why? Why her? Why us? Why do she have to go through this? So, like I said, my mom and my aunt Faye is praying. The doctor gets we're in Louisville, Mississippi. The doctor gets on the phone to call, to have her helicopter lifted to Jackson, Mississippi, where awesome doctors, love them, awesome doctors. But before they can get the helicopter there, I guess she heard them say she was going to get in the helicopter, but she woke up. She just woke up, and mind you, remember now, she's not walking. Age of 1, she's not walking. Age of 2, she's not walking. 3, she still has not walked yet. So my mom is down on the other end of the hospital. It's like a long hallway. And my mom is down on the other end of the hospital talking to the doctor on the phone about the helicopter. Shay says, I want my grandma. I said, well, your grandma is out there talking to the doctor. They're going to take you down to the other hospital. I want my granny. I want my granny. So my mom hears her, and she's still talking to the doctor. And Shay, I got pee, Mom. I get her up out the bed to get ready to take her to the bathroom. And my baby says she wants to get down. I'm holding her. Down, Mom. Down. I'm thinking, okay, you can't get down, baby. I got to carry you. You can't get down. Down, Mom. Down. I put her down. BS y'all not. I'm not kidding. I'm not exaggerating. I put her down. My baby started slowly walking to my mom. Slowly. But she's walking. Y'all don't understand. When y'all get on YouTube and social medias and y'all bully her and y'all talk bad, y'all have no idea. Y'all have no idea what she has been through since day one. We take her home. She's walking. She's a happy little girl. She can't keep up with other kids, but she walking, so it don't even matter because she knows at some point I'm gonna catch up with them kids. So we get there. I guess she figured, hey, I can walk now. I'm finna let him have it. I'm finna give it all to him. So Miss Mary comes and she's doing the therapy with her, and Shay gets into her mode, and she was like, hey, I want to do this shit today. 3. So we all stop, and I'm like, Shay, you have to. Like, you got to do this. And she's like, Mom, I don't want to do this shit. Those were her words. I don't want to do this shit. And Miss Mary was so sweet, and one second. Okay. Miss Mary was like the sweetest. So she just